Only the legend that is Chris Bass could produce a line like that and have the entire panel in a fit of hysterics. 36 after the hour. Ryan McCarthy is on the way, but only Chris Bass could produce a line like that and just have everybody in a fit of hysterics. Lord knows I was. And I worked with him. Loved every minute of it. Loved every minute of it. All right, while we wait on Mr. McCarthy to the Fanatics feedback zone, Victor Locke says, here's a name for you, Snowman. Milton Bradley. Oh, dear God. I may have flown up the handle this past Friday, the legendary Brian Snow show. Yeah. You did. You did. All right, I believe we are ready. I believe Mr. McCarthy is here. He is. And do we know what's on his mind this morning? Are we going to know? You're going to find out right now.
This coffee with McCarthy is sponsored by Steph Curry Cognac. One, and it's lights out.
What the hell is that?
Oh, hey, Snowman.
Hi. Ryan McCarthy joining us now. Why? Just
why not?
Why'd you do that?
Why not?
You just why not? Okay. I see a lampshade rocking back and forth as the opening theme is playing for you. All right, what you got for us this morning, my friend?
So I did a little experimentation over the weekend. Friday night, I did a little bit of the alternative play-by-play, or as I call it, APXP.
I got that.
It's hard.
I caught that. Really?
It's tough.
What gave you that idea?
Well, I think part of it is the fact that you're relying on a television feed as opposed to being at the stadium or the arena that you're at. You have to wait on the transitions and kind of fill time if you're just by yourself. You have to fill time between plays and give factoids and all that other stuff. So it's I mean, but you know what though? Practice makes perfect. And this was a great way for me to kind of get my feet wet for the alternative play-by-play. I JJ play-by-play by JJ. He does an amazing job. You do a splendid job as well. It's especially if it's your first time doing it in a while. Because I did some play-by-play for an alternative football league down in Louisiana.
Yeah,
which was 8-on-8 tackle football, outdoor football. I did that for a couple of times for Belly Up Sports. Haven't done it in a while, so it's tough. It's tough, but again, practice makes perfect, and that was just good practice. Yeah, I'll definitely go back and watch my stream again just to make sure to see if I made any mistakes or any, if there's anything I can just kind of things I need to learn for myself. I'll take any and all advice.
So what part of that was the toughest for you? What part of that was like the one thing that, the one problem you kept running into during your broadcast?
I think it was the TV transitions, because I was relying on the CFL Plus stream, and I was relying on their transitions because you know how TSN likes to do the transitions between every play, and sometimes when they come back late, or they're showing the replay, and they're showing the next play in progress. Right. That's a little tough because again, you're not at the stadium. You're relying on another feed. You're relying on TV. Television, as opposed to being there at the game. So also it's difficult it's difficult when you don't have a spotter of your own.
Right.
Because back when I was in college, when I was completing my degree, I had interned for a radio station in the summer of 2019. And I got to hang out with my buddy Closer. We call him Closer because his last name's Mariano. We call him Closer. Enough. So he was calling a game for
42, Mariano Rivera. Number
And
42.
Q enter Sandman.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So I got to sit in with him while he was calling a University of Albany game, and I was his spotter for the afternoon, and I made his job a lot easier that day. So it's tough now because again, like I said, you're not at the game, you don't have a spotter, you're relying on a TV feed, and it's difficult to make those transitions. So if JJ, if you're watching JJ, play by JJ, if you're watching out there, I would love to connect with you. Love to connect with you, Snowman, get some helpful advice as to how to make my alternative play-by-play better, because I want to get better. I want to send some submissions and see if I can get a job.
It just takes a lot of practice, man. That's the first thing. It just takes a lot of practice. It took a lot of practice for me on site to know the transitions, especially with football. And the transitions are fast.
Right.
All right, because I've worked with a couple of television companies back in Chicago, and I called a lot of high school and college sports. And the one thing you have to be aware of, if it's a big game, the breaks may be a little bit longer. And what I did with the WNBA, which I'll have Thursday night, and Major League Baseball, is I consulted the rule book. I downloaded the rule book and consulted the time in between quarters, so I can time that and make sure I have little tidbits of information that will take about 30 seconds. I'm still working on that with baseball, trying to get it down, because when I do college and high school baseball, between innings, it's only a minute or a minute and 5. And with Major League Baseball, it's 2:15. And I want to thank Shane Lake for getting that information to me. So what Cole, the mad scientist, did was he created breaks that lasted 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Yep.
And those breaks allow me to breathe. But with the CFL, I would suggest that you consult the CFL rule book and look at their timing. I'm guessing it's about 2 minutes in between quarters. That's a guess. And I'm basing it on NFL breaks. But and there's something else I'm doing. I'm consulting the NFL because I plan to do Sunday Night Football. Because wife has given me a rule: at the end of Friday, I am hers until the end of the Colts game on Sunday. They're like, okay, I can deal with that. 2.5 days with my wife. Oh yeah, I can definitely deal with that.
There should be no argument there, Snowman.
No, hell no. Hell no, there's no argument. She loves football.
Good.
She loves football. So there's a possibility that if I do a stream on a Saturday with college football, she'll join me. I know Dietz will. As we're planning that, she'll just want to know what games we're talking. She'll just want to know what games we're talking about. Or
I would love to hear I would love to hear the female perspective of a football fan.
Me too.
Just watching
too.
Watching a game and observing, and because I remember back in the day, I had talked to a friend of mine. We were at a I don't know if you remember this
Mexican chocolate, courtesy of Ryan McCarthy, by the way. And
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock brand.
And 6:30. I get it.
No, that's the brand name. No, that's the brand name.
Oh, that's the brand name.
Yeah.
You can call this 6:30 because that's the time I got up this morning. So salute to you, sir. And I want a birthday present of this.
I'll work on it.
But I've had female announcers with me, and I've enjoyed every minute of their perspective. And all of them asked me, how can you keep up with the players' names or learn the players' names so fast, especially when I was doing college basketball at Chicago State and later Loyola. They would ask me, how can you learn the players' roster so fast? I said, well, I do some studying the night before. Especially, it's especially important. It's like cramming for an exam when I'm asked to sit in, because I was the alternate announcer at Loyola University for women's basketball for 4 years. Thank you, Tom Westenfeld, for that opportunity. And that came about by accident because He knew I did a lot of play-by-play for high schools, and he was the voice at Loyola. He did women's basketball. He covered men's basketball. And he called me one day, and I didn't have any plans that weekend, none. And he goes, "Can you sit in for me at Loyola?" Sure. Who's the opponent? He told me who the opponent was, so I immediately went upstairs to my office, and I started digging. I started doing research. Let me tell the prospective play-by-play announcers this: if there's one thing you're going to do a lot of as a play-by-play announcer, is research. You're going to do it before the game, you're going to do it during the game, and you're going to do it after the game. Because if you decide to take this on and make it even a weekly game, and I know some folks that do. I know, look, Robert Ford of the Houston Astros is one of my best friends. Dave Sims, TV voice of the Seattle Mariners, same thing. I see the research that they do, and it's nuts. I see the same thing for Matt Taylor, who joins me every week talking Colts.
Yep.
Same thing. The research is, and I know you did this before your game Friday night. I know the research had to have been crazy for you, getting ready for it.
Yeah, the one of the other difficult parts was the fact that the depth charts didn't come out until Friday morning of the game.
Right.
So that was a bit difficult. Although I knew some of the news about the Hamilton Tiger about Hamilton.
Yeah, because we covered the CFL here. You know, for those of you that think we don't do anything else, we cover the CFL. All right. I had a weekly show. I had to scrap it for this year because I had so much on my plate, but we cover it here. But getting the depth charts is a pain in the ass. Trust me. I've made many a call and researched many a website. And with what Dietz and I are going to do this year, I know getting the depth chart is going to be paramount for me, because what I do, and you may want to try this, what I do is I draw the depth chart. I have the information and I make spotting boards. And it's something that I've always done in my 20 plus years of doing football. I always have spotting boards, and it's one thing that Jody always gets on me about doing my spot boards early for the game I'm going to cover. And sometimes she helps me in doing it. And that's one of the best things about, having Jody around, when she helps me with my broadcast and helps me get ready for it. And it just helps, like you said, to have that female perspective. And Jody's basically in charge of in-studio production here, and she tells me, do you have everything ready? Are your reads ready? And things like that. You want to be as prepared as possible. And what I would suggest you do is consult the CFL book and look at the timing.
Okay.
In between quarters and everything. The transitions you can't do anything about, because you're relying on a television feed. And the best thing for you to do is talk about the replays, set up the down, set up the distance. And when they quickly come back and then they're into it, you can just go into the description. That's the best you can do, because TSN loves having like 30-second replays instead of 15.
Yeah.
That's been TSN's tradition. Hey, I was a subscriber to TSN Online. Trust me. They love their transitions, whether it's baseball, whether it's hockey, or things like that. So what you need to do is prepare yourself for like a 30-second transition, or up to 30-second transition. Set up the play. When they come back and they're in motion, you say something like, back to live action, Crumb back to throw, steps into the pocket, and then you continue on with the play. That's how you can counter those. That's how you can counter those transitions.
Speaking of Dustin Crumb,
he did it again.
He did it again.
2
weeks in a row.
He did it again. The Ottawa Red Blacks. I nearly called them the Rough Riders. I'm old school.
That's okay.
The Ottawa Rough Riders are nothing to play with right now, with Dustin Crumb leading them.
If you really wanted to go obscure, you call them the Renegades.
Oh, I remember the Renegades. Orange was one of their colors.
I have a story about the Renegades.
Okay.
So, 2001, I went up to Montreal. I went to the Grey Cup in Montreal. And
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what my ticket
was. This at Molson Stadium?
This was at Stade Olympique.
Oh, Olympic Stadium. Okay, so you were playing at you trained at the Big O. Okay,
Yeah, I went to the Big O, and
nice,
I got really great seats for
nice.
$75, lower bowl, I think the 25-yard line, I want to say,
In
but great
Olympic Stadium,
seats. Yeah, in Olympic
something
Stadium.
something else, man.
Hmm.
Something else.
So on Saturday morning, I'm walking down. I'm trying to remember which street it was. I want to say it was St. Catherine's, but it could have been the street up.
That's right, because they
And
didn't move to Molson until 2014, I think.
no, they moved. I have another story about that. But back to
Okay,
this story.
go ahead.
Back to the original story. So I
Mhm.
was walking down getting breakfast, and I walked in, and there's three gentlemen behind me at this breakfast
Mhm.
place. And I was just by myself because I travel when I travel, I tend to travel alone if I go somewhere for a sports destination. I go by myself. Or
Yeah,
back in the day anyway. So I'm just by myself. These three gentlemen walk in, and they're from the city of Ottawa. They're representing the
yeah.
city of Ottawa. They're from the government, from their city government. And
Mhm.
we talk. We're just like, "Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing up here?" It's like, "Where are you from?" I said, I'm from originally from upstate New York. I'm from around the capital region area, the Albany area. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing up
Right,
here?" I said, "I'm
right.
checking out the Grey Cup." Like, wow, you came all the way up here for the Grey Cup. I'm like, "Yeah, I love the CFL. I love football. Period." And I wanted to come up and enjoy the game. And I bought this ticket back, last year when I originally wanted to go. So we got breakfast, and one of the gentlemen hands me a hat for the Ottawa Renegades. I still have that hat somewhere. He hands me the hat. He hands me a
Nice.
pin, and he invites me to the city of Ottawa. They're hosting a Grey Cup party at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. So that
Wow.
afternoon, I go to that party. I go. The Grey Cup is there. They have the owner of the Ottawa Renegades at the time. He was there. Got to meet him. Got to meet Eric. I think it was Eric Tillman, who was the GM at that time.
Yeah.
Got to talk to him a little bit. Introduce myself. Just talk to people, random people. They loved the fact that an American was coming to check out their game, and it was a blast just meeting these guys. Just randomly happen to meet these guys. I get a hat. I get invited to a party, and it's a story for the story for my own
Nice.
storybook. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
Very nice. Well, when I do my stadium tour, I already have a plan to end it in Vancouver at the Grey Cup next year. But I have the feeling it's going to continue because I already have like a 2-year plan in mind. I got to go over this with Jody, and I think she's got a surprise for me to help raise money for it. But I'll talk about the stadium tour at the top of the next hour.
Actually, do
But
have a question for you. I do have a question
yes,
for you.
yes, sir.
So, out of all the stadiums you're looking to go to, which stadium are you looking forward to going to the most, and why? And I'm betting it's Levi Field, but I'm
That's
suspecting
one
it's
of
probably going to be a
four.
surprise.
That's one of four that I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay.
Of course, Levi's Stadium. I never had a chance to see Candlestick Park, but
Hmm.
I want to see Levi's Stadium. Um, I want to see all the stadiums in San Francisco. Levi's, Chase Center, Oracle Park. I want to see them all. I want to see the new house. I want to see the new Yankee Stadium and sit in the press box because Mike
I've been
Francesa,
to Yankee Stadium. Yeah,
nice. I want to see
yeah.
I want to tour the new Yankee Stadium. I want to see the press box where John Sterling sits
Hmm.
because that's what I did in Kansas City.
I
Uh,
I have a story about John Sterling. So I went to a Yankee game. I think it was in 2016 because I've been to both
mhm.
the old Yankee Stadium and the new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
The
I've
new
been in
Yankee
the
Stadium is
old house. I've been in the
yeah.
old house.
The new
Haven't seen
stadium is
the new
pretty great because it's wide open. So if you're going to a
one.
concession stand, you can still watch the game. So it's
Mhm.
wide open. It's great.
Nice.
Um, but I remember at the end of one game, I see John Sterling like walking by me,
Mhm.
coming out. He's got his briefcase. He's got his coat. I don't know why he's wearing a coat when it's like 90 degrees
90 degrees.
and freaking humid.
Because it's probably air conditioned in the booth. That's my
Yeah,
guess.
and
That's my
also
guess.
he's professional. He's a
Yes.
professional broadcaster. So,
Mhm.
but I remember him being just very short, I'd probably say he's no taller than 5'7". You think this man is just this great voice, this baritone
who would be at least 6 feet tall.
leaning towards bass voice.
Yep. Yes.
5'7". It's like finding out. It's like finding out who the voice of Optimus Prime was. Optimus Prime. I forgot his name. I remember his name from the original Transformer cartoon. Optimus Prime, the guy who voiced it. Great.
Yes.
It's just great voice. And you find out he's this really small dude with a mustache. In fact, I'm going to look that up right now.
That's kind of reminded me of
Peter Cullen.
That's kind of remind me of the guy who did the Juggernaut in the X-Men movie, and I watched the movie and I'm thinking, okay, he's like this great big guy. No, he's I think he's all of 5'9" and 224 pounds. But
so
of course,
he'd be more Ram from Masters of the Universe than
but you already know. But you already know the line that made the movie.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yep,
that's a line that made the movie.
So
you don't have to hear anything else but that.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked about the stadium tour is because next summer, when I go to North Carolina again for my vacation, myself and my party, the party I'm with, or hoping to stop at Camden Yards for a game. And I already looked at the 2024 schedule. The Orioles are playing the Astros the weekend we're going to North Carolina. So we're going to stop at Camden Yards, go to a game. I'm going to hopefully meet up with my buddy Eric Arditi from Barstool Sports. He's been on my podcast a couple times. Great guest. Awesome dude. Loves to talk Orioles.
That's a guest I'd love to have, and that's a stadium I'd love to see. I want to see Camden Yards.
My brother went to Camden Yards last year. I was very jealous. But he told me all about it yesterday. We were at a graduation party, and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Camden Yards." He's like, "Oh, this is Camden Yards is awesome." Like, he told me all about it. So I'm looking forward to going myself next year. So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But yeah, I know I want to see Levi's. I'm praying we get F that. We're going to get enough traction that we go see Allegiant Stadium. And I'm already
You mean the world's largest Roomba?
The world's largest Roomba to house Super Bowl 58.
That's what it looks like.
I want us on Radio Row. I want it so bad. I want it so badly. And that's one place I want to see, because one of my favorite college teams was the UNLV Running Rebels. That's one arena I want to see Thomas and Matt.
Tarkanian the Shark.
Tark the Shark.
I will warn you about MetLife Stadium. It's sterile as hell. It's cookie cutter. I don't think
I want to see MetLife Stadium. Well, I'm gonna see MetLife Stadium.
It's the Snowman Stadium tour. Snowman,
I know.
You gotta go to the stadium.
I gotta see MetLife.
But I will warn you.
Is the old Giant Stadium still up?
Nope.
No,
it's a parking garage stands where
doggone it.
Old Giant Stadium used to be.
What
they built it right next door.
You know what I did get to see through New Jersey? I did get to see Meadowlands Arena. I did get to see Meadowlands Arena. And since we have Cool McCain in the house, and since we have Cool McCain in the house, I can't wait to see Lincoln Financial Field on this tour.
The link.
I want to see the link.
The link, Citizens Bank Park and Wells Fargo Center, they're all in the same block.
Nice.
The way that the city of Philadelphia built those stadiums was brilliant. All in the same block. They share the same parking.
That's what they did in Kansas City.
The only time it's a real bear is if Eagles and Phillies games run against each other.
Yep.
Because you got people
like
coming
last
out
year with the playoffs.
Yep.
Exactly. Like last year with the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know, I did. That's what they did in Kansas City. Because I got my tour of Kauffman Stadium, and across from it is Arrowhead Stadium.
Did you know Kauffman Stadium is in Missouri and Arrowhead Stadium's in Kansas?
Yes. Yes.
That's a fun fact I love to share with people.
It is. It is. And most people don't think about it.
Yeah, and I remember when
that Arrowhead Stadium is technically in Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas City,
Yep.
Kansas.
Mhm.
Oh man, running out of time, but I love
Yeah.
having you on, brother. It's always a great time. I
Yeah.
love you very much. When's your next one? When's your next call?
Tonight, next call is probably going to be Sunday at 6:50 p.m. Eastern time. Calgary is visiting Montreal, and the next,
Ooh,
yeah, and
Molson Stadium.
Calgary's coming up. I've been to Molson Stadium. It's small, but it's very it's loud.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as no credentials required goes, tonight 8 p.m. we're going to be reviewing Miracle. And we'll get into our all usual shenanigans on Monday night leading up to football season. So stop on by.
Justin has got to be a guest here with me to talk Seahawks.
I need to remind him of that.
You
I meant
have
to
to
remind him
arrange.
last week.
You must
Unfortunately,
arrange
didn't get a
that
chance
for
to.
me because I'm going to tell him face to face that the Seahawks ain't got a chance in hell to win the West.
He's not. He's probably very cognizant of that, but he's just very happy that they're still successful. I mean, surprisingly, last year I thought they were going to tank last year, but they were they were like, nope, we're not going to tank. We got,
and I'm glad they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't.
Yep.
Denver Broncos, however, Sean Payton or not, they're going to tank. I'm sorry. Did I just let a prediction slip out?
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, brother, so much. I love you. We'll do it again next Monday. Thank you.
Absolutely.